There are several ways to improve your ability to attend when listening. So one is to eliminate physical impediments or barriers. So when I think of that, I think, take your earbuds out, or just make sure you can hear people. Make sure the conditions for listening are well maintained. So if we were in a classroom and someone walked by, we would want to close the door so that we could still hear each other and listen. So you need to get physically and mentally ready for listen. So you might have been thinking about something, but now it's time to listen. So bring your focus and be mindful of your listening process. Make the shift from speaker to listener a complete one. So we talked about turn taking in conversations, and so when it's your turn, really be the listener. Okay, so the next step is understanding. So understanding is really just the decoding part of the communication model. So when we're thinking about the communication model, and we talked about how the encoding and the decoding don't always make sense, or are always the same. So understanding is just being able to hear the message and turn it into meaning, so decoding. So the best way to think about this particular part of listening is to think about where it doesn't work. So if you've ever been in another country or had a conversation with someone who speaks a language that you don't speak, understanding is difficult. That's where the listening process stops. Another way that understanding doesn't happen is if someone says something and you hear something like, the purple mushroom ate grass. What did you just say? And then they say something that sounded similar but makes a lot more sense once they repeat it. So if you're hearing strange things like that, then the understanding is where the listening process stops. The next step is remembering. So in order to be a good listener, you can't just let the information flow in one ear and out the other. You have to be able to keep up and retain the information so that the speaker can build on what they're telling you. Also, if like a week from now they reference back to your conversation and you don't remember what you were talking about, then you weren't really listening. So remembering what people say is part of the listening process. The next step is evaluating. This is where we process the information in our mind. We'll talk more about evaluating next.